Okay, thanks, Mike. Well, we started late and we've finished late. So, just in summary, we've talked to you about some of the innovation that we're developing, and Mike's gone through a good example of it. There is a great deal of innovation in the automobile industry at the moment, probably at a greater rate than there's ever been. At Jaguar Land Rover, our investment into this and into the UK is going at a tremendous rate now, and together with the strengths that Dave went through in terms of our links with UK universities and suppliers, then we think there's a real opportunity for investment in the UK at the moment. So, I know we're right up against lunchtime, but if there are any burning questions, as the previous chairman said, then we'll be happy to take them.
I'll throw my voice.
Yeah, go on, shout out.
Martin Durrett from Infineon. I guess I've seen one specification that seems to be sort of missing in your design spec, which is the durability of the battery, which I guess is always a significant issue. I think I heard recently the cost of I know it's one of your competitors, Nissan Leaf 23,000 and cost 12,000.
We can't hear you. You got a microphone?
I didn't ask for a microphone.
Have we got one? There's one coming. So. The questions about durability of batteries, anyway. So,
yes, indeed. There's this Martin Durrett from Infineon just asking the question because there seems to be a missing specification with regard to durability of batteries. Sometimes you can find the sort of total cost of the battery replacement is, at least in the case of one of your competitors, the Nissan Leaf, is sort of more than 50% of the car. So I guess that's a major concern going forward. I'm sure it would be some of your users, unless they're intending only to use it for sort of 6 or 12 months.
Well, there's all sorts of specifications we didn't put up there that we could have done, but from our perspective, then the battery is expected to last the life of the vehicle. So that's what we're engineering it to do. It's part of the drivetrain. So.
Hello, Azar Hussain from TTHCP. Thank you very much for the presentation first. The question I had is the substitution of the drivetrain as we move from combustion to whatever is electric or parallel hybrid or whatever. What is your view on how the engagement with the customer will transform itself? Is it still a dealer selling a vehicle, a guy buys the vehicle and they own it, or is there some other model? And if there is a different model, what are you guys doing in terms of the technical infrastructure to enable that? So if there's a leasing battery or whatever, I mean, what are you guys thinking on that whole thing?
Well, we currently don't. We don't intend to lease the battery. As I said, we're engineering it to last the life of the vehicle. And in terms of the ownership model, then the way that we're engineering these cars, then we don't really see that they should be necessarily treated any different way to a conventional car. That's not to say that we haven't got to equip our dealers around the world with the ability to handle them. Of course we have. There's got to be, and we're already putting training in place to handle the high voltage that will be applied to these vehicles. I don't know if my colleagues got anything to add to that.
I don't think so. I think we'd expect the vehicles to operate in exactly the same way as a conventional vehicle, apart from we have to find a way of getting the charge into that vehicle. So actually, I think that's one of the biggest challenges is getting the customer to plug in the vehicle to charge the battery, so you actually gain that CO2 advantage. But in terms of the vehicle itself, you get into it, you drive it just like a conventional vehicle. It does everything a conventional vehicle will do. There's no difference.
Okay. So another question over here, I think.
Yes, thank you. Paul Streletsky, in my role as a visiting professor at Manchester University Electrical Engineering. Two points from a strategic supply perspective. One is 3 days ago, Steve Holliday, the CEO of National Grid, stood exactly where you are and said, I hope the automotive industry don't make everything electrical, because if every car in Britain was electric, we'd literally double the amount of electricity we require, and we're struggling to provide what we need to already. One. The second is, in some of your new technologies for batteries, for example, rare earth metals, are a critical component. 98% of them come from China. So I'm thinking about your strategic issues in electricity or materials to support this radical shift that you've just described.
I'll take the first part, if I may, and Dave will take the second part. So in terms of the risk to the electric supply industry of every car in the UK becoming electric, I think that's quite slim in the short term. And I think that any growth figures you see for the take-up of electric vehicles in the world is a lot slower than people were predicting a few years ago. So I think, I know that the electric supply industry, I've talked to them quite a lot personally. I know that they've got some pretty big challenges. And I don't want to minimise those challenges, but I think they have got time to react. But they've got to start to recognise that this is a challenge that's coming, and that doesn't just apply in the UK. That applies throughout the world. I mean, we saw China only a few years ago making some very bullish comments about how many electric vehicles they expected to have in China, which would have been about now, and they haven't managed to get the infrastructure to support that by any means yet. So it's a very big challenge, the electrical infrastructure that's coming. But I think there's a bit of time to do it. But you're right, it's a serious issue.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of security of supply, I mean, first of all, I guess as Pete said, the more conservative trends are not looking, probably beyond about 10% of the electric market by 2020. So it's not anywhere near the step change that perhaps we were talking about a few years ago. Secondly, I mean, yes, rare earth metals have been a real problem, not just on batteries, but on, speakers, other sorts of electronics around the car. And the market price is driving other people now to enter the market. So whilst China have done some unusual things to try and control the market, it has encouraged other areas now to sort of re-enter mining for those areas. I think thirdly, it's also driven a lot of activity into looking for alternatives to rare earths. So, there are studies on electric motors without any rare earths, and batteries will be the same, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm mindful of the fact we're 5 minutes late for lunch now, so thank you very much indeed.